No Limits: How Ambition Builds Extraordinary Lives. Introduction. The relentless force that moves the world. Ambition is not a luxury, it's a necessity. History's greatest breakthroughs, from revolutionary startups to game-changing technologies, were not born from talent alone. They came from individuals with vision, grit, and an unrelenting desire to build something bigger than themselves. These people weren't just dreamers, they were builders. And what they built was driven by one thing: ambition. In today's hyper-competitive world, entrepreneurs face a paradox. On the one hand, the resources to succeed have never been more accessible. Knowledge, capital, and networks are at our fingertips. On the other hand, the noise, distraction, and self-doubt are louder than ever. Amid this chaos, ambition is what separates the ordinary from the extraordinary. But what exactly is ambition? Contrary to popular belief, ambition is not arrogance, it's not greed, and it's certainly not about chasing external validation. Ambition is the internal drive to pursue a vision, to overcome challenges, and to keep moving forward even when the odds seem stacked against you. Research from the University of Pennsylvania found that people with higher ambition tend to have greater life satisfaction, career success, and psychological resilience. Ambition fuels perseverance, and perseverance turns potential into performance. Yet, ambition is not a fixed trait. It can be cultivated, strengthened, sharpened. Like a muscle, it grows through challenge and repetition. That's what this book is about. In No Limits, we will break down the science and psychology of ambition, explore real-world entrepreneurial case studies, and reveal the habits and mindsets that turn bold ideas into thriving ventures. You'll learn how ambitious people create massive clarity around their goals, build discipline to sustain long-term execution, bounce back from failure with even more fire, and expand their capacity to think bigger and do bigger. This book is a blueprint for high-performing entrepreneurs who want more than just incremental growth. It's for those who want to build something meaningful, profitable, and lasting, and are willing to develop the mindset to do it. If you've ever felt that quiet but persistent voice inside the one that tells you you're meant for more, you're in the right place. There are no limits, except the ones you haven't yet broken. Let's get to work. Chapter 1. The Spark of Ambition. Every fire begins with a spark, and in the journey of every extraordinary entrepreneur, that spark is ambition. But where does ambition come from? Some believe it's innate, that a person is either born hungry for success or not. But science and countless stories from self-made entrepreneurs suggest otherwise. Ambition can be ignited. It can be nurtured. It can be turned from a flicker into a blaze. The psychology of wanting more. Psychologists define ambition as the persistent and generalized striving for success, attainment, and accomplishment. This isn't about random goal setting, it's a deep, motivating force that drives individuals to envision a better future and work relentlessly toward it. A longitudinal study from the University of Notre Dame followed 717 individuals from adolescence to midlife. The researchers found that ambition was a strong predictor of success in life and career, even after accounting for IQ and socioeconomic status. In other words, ambition often matters more than raw intelligence or background. Entrepreneurs, in particular, are wired to chase problems, challenge norms, and seek growth. But what distinguishes those who scale new heights from those who plateau is not just ambition, it's the ability to channel that ambition effectively. The birth of a vision. Many successful ventures begin with dissatisfaction. Elon Musk didn't launch Tesla or SpaceX because he was content with the status quo. He saw gaps in sustainable energy, in space exploration, in transportation, and he couldn't sit still. Ambition is often born when what is becomes unacceptable compared to what could be. For you, the spark might come from a frustrating experience, a broken system, or a bold insight into the future. It doesn't have to be earth-shattering. It only has to be real. The key is recognizing that spark when it appears and doing something about it. Ambition without clarity is chaos. Ambition alone is not enough. Ambition without clarity leads to burnout. That's why the most ambitious entrepreneurs invest early in vision. Ask yourself, what problem am I obsessed with solving? Who do I want to serve, and how will I make their lives better? What does success look like in 1, 5, 10 years? Write it down. Build a vision that excites you and scares you at the same time. According to Harvard Business Review, people with written goals are 42% more likely to achieve them than those who just keep goals in their heads. Clarity transforms ambition from chaotic energy into strategic power. Fueling the fire. Motivation versus discipline. In the early stages of your entrepreneurial journey, ambition might feel like adrenaline, a burst of excitement, late-night ideas, and endless energy. But motivation fades. What matters more is building systems that sustain your ambition when inspiration runs dry. This is where discipline enters. Ambition lights the fire, discipline keeps it burning. A study in the Journal of Personality and Social Psychology found that people who exercised consistent self-discipline outperformed those who relied on short-term motivation across academics, relationships, health, and finances. If your spark is ambition, your wood and oxygen are habits, routines, and boundaries that support the bigger goal. Real-world sparks. Entrepreneurial origins. Sarah Blakely, the founder of Spanx, started with a simple frustration: the lack of comfortable, flattering undergarments. Her ambition wasn't to build a billion-dollar company, it was to solve a personal problem. The rest followed. Brian Chesky, co-founder of Airbnb, was broke and trying to pay rent when he and his roommate decided to rent out air mattresses in their apartment. What began as a hustle evolved into a global hospitality disruption. Whitney Wolfe Herd, founder of Bumble, left Tinder after personal and professional challenges. Her ambition wasn't just to build another dating app, it was to reimagine dating, networking, and connection for women. She became one of the youngest female self-made billionaires in the process. The spark, for each of them, was real, and it was rooted in ambition. Igniting your own spark. If you feel like your ambition has dulled, or that your entrepreneurial fire is flickering, start small. Revisit your why. What drives you beyond money? Surround yourself with ambitious thinkers. Energy is contagious. Consume content that stretches your mind. Biographies, business podcasts, interviews with founders. Set uncomfortable but exciting goals. The right goal can reignite your passion faster than any motivational quote. Most importantly, take action. Even imperfect action builds momentum, and momentum sustains ambition. Ambition is the spark that begins the extraordinary journey. It's not a trait reserved for the elite. It's a mindset you can develop, fuel, and direct. The world doesn't need more ideas. It needs more people willing to chase them relentlessly. In the chapters ahead, we'll explore how to turn your spark into strategy and your vision into reality. Because ambition alone is just potential. Applied ambition, that's power. Chapter 2. Vision Beyond Limits. Ambition without vision is like a car with a full tank and no GPS, powerful but directionless. Entrepreneurs with ambition must learn to aim it with precision. That aim is called vision. Vision is the ability to see what doesn't exist yet, and to believe in it so deeply that it shapes your actions today. It's more than goals. Vision is a picture of the future that pulls you forward sometimes, even when logic tells you to quit. Why vision matters. A compelling vision gives meaning to ambition. It transforms hard work into purpose and failure into feedback. Researchers at the University of Pennsylvania found that people with a strong sense of purpose not only perform better, but also handle stress more effectively and persist longer through challenges. In entrepreneurship, a clear vision attracts investors and customers, aligns your team with a unified mission, guides decision-making in moments of uncertainty, acts as a compass when the path gets rough. In short, vision sustains momentum. Vision versus fantasy. There's a difference between wild dreaming and grounded vision. Fantasies are vague. I want to be rich. I want to build the next Amazon. They feel good to imagine, but they rarely lead to consistent action. A powerful vision is emotionally inspiring and practically specific. It asks, who do I want to impact? What problem am I uniquely positioned to solve? What change do I want to see in 5-10 years because of my work? The best entrepreneurs don't just dream, they design futures worth building. How great entrepreneurs use vision. Jeff Bezos started Amazon with the vision of building the Earth's most customer-centric company. That vision guided innovations from one-click ordering to Prime delivery to Alexa. Oprah Winfrey built a media empire around the vision of empowering people to live their best lives. Her decisions from TV shows to book clubs reflected this core. Steve Jobs wasn't just building computers. He wanted to make tools for the mind that would empower creative people. That vision led to the Mac, iPhone, and beyond. These examples prove that a clear vision, repeated often and pursued relentlessly, has transformational power, creating a vision that moves you. If you're serious about building an extraordinary life through ambition, you need a vision that excites you. Try this exercise. Imagine it's 10 years from now. What does your life look like? What business are you running? What kind of person are you? Now go deeper. What impact have you made? What do your customers say about you? What problem did you help solve in the world? Write a future letter. Write a letter from your future self to your current self. Describe what you built, how you overcame obstacles, and why it was worth it. This is more than imagination. It's vision building. Communicating your vision. Entrepreneurs who scale understand that vision must be shared with clarity, conviction, and consistency. Whether you're pitching investors, hiring employees, or talking to your audience, your vision must be short enough to remember, be bold enough to inspire, be clear enough to act on. Simon Sinek's Start With Why framework is a powerful tool. People don't just buy what you do, they buy why you do it. Your vision should reflect that why. Vision evolves, and that's okay. Don't wait until your vision is perfect. Start with what you have and refine it over time. Even Tesla changed course. Initially, the vision was simply to build a high-performance electric sports car. Today, it's to accelerate the world's transition to sustainable energy. What matters is movement, not perfection. Let your customers, your market, and your inner growth help shape the vision over time. Obstacles to vision and how to overcome them. Some entrepreneurs struggle to articulate their vision because they fear looking foolish. They've failed before and lost confidence. They compare themselves to others. They get stuck in the day-to-day grind. If this sounds familiar, remember, clarity comes from action. You don't wait for a perfect vision. You build it through pursuit, iteration, and reflection. Schedule time monthly to re-engage with your vision. Ask, does this still excite me? Does it still serve others? Is my current path aligned with it? Vision as a filter. When you have a clear vision, decision-making becomes simpler. Every opportunity, every distraction, every new idea can be filtered by one question. Does this move me closer to my vision or away from it? That one question protects your time, your energy, and your focus. It also builds trust with others. People follow entrepreneurs who clearly know where they're going. Chapter 3. The Ambition, Execution Gap. Almost everyone has ambition. Few turn it into action. Even fewer turn that action into consistent results. The gap between what people want and what they actually do is the ambition execution gap, and closing it is the make or break factor for entrepreneurs. This chapter dives into why that gap exists, what science tells us about bridging it, and how top performers turn lofty goals into real-world outcomes. The dream versus the doing. Psychologists call it the intention-behavior gap, the difference between what people intend to do and what they actually do. You plan to launch that startup, finish that course, start that podcast, and yet days, months, even years pass without results. Ambition gives you a destination, but only execution gets you there. In a Harvard Business Review study, researchers found that execution is what separates high-performing entrepreneurs from the rest. Not intelligence, not passion, not even strategy. It's the ability to consistently take the next right action even when it's uncomfortable. Why the gap exists? Several factors contribute to the ambition-execution gap. Overwhelm. Too many ideas, too many tasks, and no clear priorities. Perfectionism. Waiting for ideal conditions instead of starting messy. Fear. Fear of failure, of judgment, or even fear of success. Lack of systems. Without structure, ambition burns out fast. Procrastination. A mental habit rooted in emotional avoidance. Understanding these barriers is the first step to breaking through them. The 5% rule. Research in the field of behavioral psychology shows that after reading or hearing an idea, only about 5% of people will act on it, and only a fraction will stick with it long enough to see results. Entrepreneurs in that top 5% do one key thing differently. They bias toward action. They don't just think, they build. They don't just plan, they launch. And when they fail because everyone does, they analyze and try again. Discipline over motivation. Motivation is a spark. Discipline is the engine. A 2013 study from researchers at the University of Pennsylvania found that self-discipline was a better predictor of academic success than IQ. The same holds true in entrepreneurship. It's not about the best idea, it's about the idea that's followed through. Disciplined entrepreneurs set clear weekly priorities. Time-block deep work sessions. Create systems to track progress. Say no to distractions. Reflect and recalibrate regularly. Discipline builds momentum, and momentum builds confidence. Systems beat willpower. One of the most effective ways to bridge the execution gap is through systems repeatable processes that remove decision fatigue and build consistency. James Clear, author of Atomic Habits, famously wrote, "You do not rise to the level of your goals, you fall to the level of your systems." Consider using a morning routine to start with energy and clarity, creating a weekly planning ritual to align priorities, setting output goals, e.g., 3 client proposals per week, rather than just outcome goals, e.g., 10K month. Using software tools like Trello, Notion, or Asana to organize your pipeline and projects. Systems turn ambition into execution fuel. Action beats anxiety. Entrepreneurs often feel paralyzed not because they lack ideas, but because they're overthinking them. They wait for certainty. They want the guarantee of success before they act. But execution doesn't wait for perfect clarity. The best learn by doing. They understand that. Clarity comes from action. Confidence is built through evidence. Progress, not perfection, is the path. Taking a small, imperfect step is always better than waiting for the perfect one. The power of feedback loops. Execution improves through iteration. That means you take action. You observe the outcome. You adjust. This feedback loop is the core of lean startup methodology. Test quickly, fail fast, and refine continuously. For example, launch a minimum viable product, MVP, instead of waiting to perfect it. Get real customer feedback early. Adjust your business model based on real-world data. Execution is not a one-time effort. It's an evolving, learning-centered process. The execution culture. Top entrepreneurs don't just build products, they build execution cultures. Whether you're solo or leading a team, culture drives performance. Execution cultures reward outcomes, not just intentions. Encourage psychological safety so people can take initiative. Celebrate progress, not just perfection. Operate with urgency, not hustle, but intentional, consistent progress. Culture isn't built overnight. It's built with every small decision, every action taken or not taken, every standard you hold or let slip. Real-world example. Sarah Blakely. When Sarah Blakely founded Spanx, she had zero experience in fashion, business, or manufacturing, but she had a relentless drive to act. She cold-called factories. She cut and tested fabrics at home. She pitched department stores herself. When most people would have paused to get it all figured out, Blakely moved forward imperfectly, but persistently. Today, Spanx is a billion-dollar brand, not because of perfect execution, but because of continuous execution. Mindset shifts for better execution. From "I'll do it later," what's the next smallest step? From "I don't know enough," "I'll learn by trying." From "it has to be perfect," "it just has to be real." These mental shifts aren't just motivational, they're practical. They prime your brain for action instead of delay. Ambition is the fuel, vision is the map, execution is the vehicle. Extraordinary lives and world-changing businesses are built by those who close the ambition-execution gap. They act when others hesitate. They build when others wait. They ship when others stall. You don't have to be the smartest. You don't have to be the most talented. You just have to do the work again and again and again. Chapter 4. The Habits of High-Performing Founders. Ambition can spark a business, but only habits sustain it. Behind every high-performing entrepreneur is not just a bold vision, but a series of powerful, consistent behaviors, habits that create momentum, sharpen focus, and multiply results over time. This chapter explores the science of habit formation, the daily routines of successful founders, and how you can build your own performance habits for sustained success. Why habits matter more than hustle. Entrepreneurship often glorifies hustle, long hours, endless energy, and relentless drive. But the most successful founders aren't those who burn the candle at both ends. They're the ones who build systems of behavior that create consistent progress. Research from Duke University shows that up to 45% of daily behavior is habitual. That means nearly half of what you do happens automatically. If you can shape those automatic actions, you can shape your destiny. Habits reduce decision fatigue, conserve willpower, and anchor your day around high-leverage actions. In short, hustle burns out, habits scale up. The habit loop. Cue, routine, reward. In The Power of Habit, Charles Duhigg introduced the concept of the habit loop. Cue, a trigger for the behavior. Routine, the behavior itself. Reward, the benefit your brain receives. Understanding this loop is key to building or breaking any habit. Let's say you want to write daily content for your business. Cue, sit down at your desk after morning coffee. Routine, write for 25 minutes without interruption. Reward, feelings of progress and clarity. If you repeat this enough, the loop becomes automatic, and content creation becomes effortless. Morning routines of elite entrepreneurs. The first 90 minutes of your day shape the tone of everything that follows. That's why so many successful founders protect their mornings with intentional routines. Common elements include no phone for the first 30-60 minutes, movement, stretching, walking, or short workouts to energize the body, journaling, gratitude, planning, or idea capture, deep work, tackling the most important task before distractions set in. Examples: Tim Ferriss, meditation plus journaling plus strength training. Oprah Winfrey, silence, prayer, and reading. Jack Dorsey, cold showers, journaling, and meditation. The specifics vary, the principle is the same. Start with intention. Keystone habits for entrepreneurs. Some habits have a ripple effect. They improve everything else. These are known as keystone habits. Powerful keystone habits include daily planning, spending 5-10 minutes to set your top 3 priorities. Exercise boosts mood, energy, and cognitive function. Regular reflection, weekly or monthly check-ins on progress. Early sleep increases focus, decision-making ability, and emotional control. You don't need a dozen habits. Mastering 2-3 keystone behaviors can radically change your productivity and clarity. Focus habits. Winning the attention game. In a world of distraction, the ability to focus is a competitive advantage. Successful entrepreneurs create focus habits to reduce noise and amplify their thinking. Examples: time blocking, scheduling blocks of uninterrupted time for deep work. Single tasking, doing one task at a time instead of multitasking. Digital hygiene, turning off notifications, using focus tools like Freedom or Forest, and checking email at set times. High performers don't rely on willpower to stay focused. They engineer environments and habits that make focus inevitable. Decision habits reduce friction. Steve Jobs wore the same outfit every day. Jeff Bezos only made 3 big decisions daily. Top entrepreneurs reduce decision fatigue by building default behaviors. Apply this to your life. Choose a weekly meal plan and stick to it. Use templates for emails, pitches, and social media posts. Automate savings, subscriptions, and admin tasks. Every routine that removes friction is a win. Energy habits fuel the fire. No matter how ambitious you are, low energy kills execution. That's why high performers protect their mental and physical energy like a business asset. Energy-building habits include hydration, drinking water first thing in the morning, walking meetings, combining movement with productivity, nutrient timing, eating clean, energizing meals at the right times, midday breaks, power naps or breathwork to recharge. You are not a machine. Rest is not a reward, it's a requirement. How to build a new habit and make it stick. Research by Dr. B.J. Fogg of Stanford University suggests that the key to building habits is starting small. His model: anchor the new habit to an existing one, e.g., meditate after brushing your teeth. Shrink the habit to a tiny step, e.g., just 2 minutes of journaling. Celebrate immediately to reinforce it emotionally. Example: after making coffee, anchor. Write 1 sentence about your top priority. Shrink. Then fist pump or smile. Celebrate. It's not about doing more. It's about doing what matters every day. From routine to ritual. When habits are infused with purpose, they become rituals. A morning walk becomes a chance to visualize your future. A journaling session becomes a tool for strategy and self-discovery. Rituals create psychological anchoring meaning and structure that fuel your entrepreneurial identity. Ask, what daily acts connect me to my mission? Chapter 5. Resilience, the inner engine of ambition. Ambition is bold, it dreams big, but only resilience can carry it through storms, failures, and setbacks. Entrepreneurship isn't a straight path. It's a series of trials. The businesses that survive and the people who thrive are not the ones with the most resources or intelligence. They're the ones who refuse to quit. Resilience is the ability to bend, not break. It's the inner engine that powers ambition through the hardest moments. Why resilience matters for entrepreneurs. In 2022, a survey by Startup Genome found that over 90% of startups fail and 10% fail within the first year. What separates those who rebound from those who collapse? Not luck, not genius, resilience. Resilience allows you to bounce back from failure faster, stay focused during chaos, turn criticism into fuel, lead with clarity during uncertainty. Ambition without resilience is like a race car with no suspension, fast but fragile. The science of resilience. Resilience isn't just a mindset, it's a set of behaviors and neurological patterns. Dr. Martin Seligman, a pioneer in positive psychology, found that explanatory style, the way we explain events to ourselves, is a key factor in resilience. People who bounce back see failure as temporary, not permanent. View challenges as specific, not global. Take control where they can, instead of feeling helpless. Resilient entrepreneurs ask, "What can I learn?" Not, "Why did this happen to me?" The role of stress tolerance. Stress is inevitable in business. The goal isn't to eliminate it, it's to build stress tolerance. Dr. Kelly McGonigal, author of The Upside of Stress, shows that how we perceive stress affects its impact on us. If we view stress as a signal of growth, it enhances performance. Ways to build stress resilience. Reframe stress as preparation, not danger. Use breathwork to calm your nervous system. Train discomfort, cold showers, fasting, public speaking. Journal or talk it out to process heavy emotions. Your tolerance for discomfort defines your capacity for growth. Stories of resilience. Lessons from founders. Howard Schultz was rejected by over 200 investors before Starbucks became a household name. Arianna Huffington had her second book rejected 36 times before it was published. Elon Musk nearly lost Tesla and SpaceX simultaneously. Both companies survived because of relentless perseverance. Every entrepreneur's story includes failure. The difference is how they respond. The resilience equation, grit plus adaptability. Resilience isn't just stubbornness. It's the balance of grit and adaptability. Grit is sticking with your long-term mission despite adversity. Adaptability is changing tactics when the old ones stop working. Angela Duckworth, author of Grit, found that perseverance and passion over the long term were better predictors of success than talent. Resilient founders don't blindly persist. They learn, pivot, and evolve without losing sight of the bigger goal. Daily habits that build resilience. Resilience is not built in crisis. It's built every day. Here are habits that cultivate emotional durability. Sleep. Fatigue increases emotional reactivity. Exercise builds physiological capacity to handle stress. Mindfulness trains presence and reduces anxiety. Connection. Talking to mentors, peers, or friends buffers you from isolation. Bonus. Keeping a resilience journal where you record how you bounced back from hard days reminds you that you've overcome before, and you can again. The power of purpose in tough times. Resilience is stronger when anchored to purpose. Viktor Frankl, in Man's Search for Meaning, argued that meaning gives people the strength to endure unimaginable hardship. In entrepreneurship, purpose reminds you why the struggle matters. Who are you serving? What problem are you solving? What future are you building? Purpose transforms pain into fuel. Leading through resilience. Your team watches how you handle pressure. Leaders who stay calm, communicate clearly, and maintain empathy create cultures of psychological safety and trust. Ways to lead resiliently. Be transparent about setbacks. Share lessons, not just wins. Normalize feedback and reflection. Model self-care and boundaries. Your resilience sets the emotional tone for your company. Chapter 6. Leadership that builds legacy. Ambition drives us to succeed, but great ambition transcends personal gain. It becomes about building something that lasts. True entrepreneurs evolve into leaders. And true leadership is measured not just by profits or valuations, but by legacy. To build extraordinary lives, we must build others. Leadership is not a title. It's a daily commitment to influence, empower, and inspire. Leadership versus management. Management is about process. Leadership is about people. Managers maintain systems. Leaders shape vision. Managers optimize. Leaders transform. While both are important in business, it's leadership that creates cultures, shifts mindsets, and unlocks human potential. Ambitious entrepreneurs must learn to lead first themselves, then others. The entrepreneur as visionary. Every legendary company began with a compelling vision. From Steve Jobs' computer for the rest of us to Elon Musk's Make Humanity Multiplanetary, vision is the engine of bold movements. As a leader, your vision must be clear. What are you building, and why does it matter? Be contagious. Can others see themselves in it? Be consistent. Is every decision aligned with that vision? Leadership begins with the courage to imagine and the discipline to deliver. Emotional intelligence in leadership. A 2019 study by TalentSmart found that 90% of top performers have high emotional intelligence, EQ. In leadership, EQ often outweighs IQ. Emotional intelligence includes self-awareness, understanding your triggers and patterns. Self-regulation, managing emotions under pressure. Empathy, reading others' feelings and needs. Social skills, navigating conflict, collaboration, and influence. Entrepreneurs often rise fast, but without EQ, they burn out teams, break trust, or stall their growth. The best leaders are emotionally available and deeply human. From control to empowerment. Early-stage entrepreneurs often do everything themselves, but scaling a company requires releasing control and empowering others. Micromanagement kills creativity. True leadership builds trust. Empowerment includes clear expectations, autonomy with accountability, support without suffocation, space to fail and learn. Your team will only rise to the level of your belief in them. Culture eats strategy. Peter Drucker's famous quote, "Culture eats strategy for breakfast," still holds true. Culture is how your company behaves when no one is watching. It's shaped by what leaders tolerate, reward, or ignore. To build a high-performance culture, model the behavior you expect. Hire for values, not just skills. Celebrate not just outcomes, but effort and integrity. Create psychological safety where people can speak, fail, and grow. Culture is your company's immune system. It protects or poisons your mission. Leading through crisis. True leaders are forged in crisis. Whether it's a market crash, a failed product, or internal conflict, how you lead under pressure defines your legacy. During crisis, communicate early and clearly. Stay visible and calm. Acknowledge fear, but project, resolve. Frame challenges as catalysts, not catastrophes. When others panic, leaders stay grounded. When others freeze, leaders move forward. Crisis doesn't destroy your credibility, it reveals it. Building other leaders. Legacy is not about how many people follow you, it's about how many leaders you've developed. Great leaders multiply leadership. To build others. Offer mentorship and feedback. Provide stretch opportunities. Teach them how to think, not just what to do. Let them lead, even if imperfectly. Your company's future depends on the leaders you cultivate today. The inner work of leadership. Leadership isn't just about external action, it requires deep internal work. Confronting your ego. Healing old insecurities. Practicing humility and gratitude. Staying anchored to purpose. Imposter syndrome, perfectionism, and fear of failure don't disappear with success. You must learn to lead yourself through them. Self-leadership is the foundation of all other leadership. Stories that inspire. Satya Nadella, CEO of Microsoft, transformed the company's culture by shifting from a know-it-all to a learn-it-all mindset. Sarah Blakely, founder of Spanx, credits her leadership growth to reframing failure as feedback, something she learned from her father. Ben Horowitz, in The Hard Thing About Hard Things, wrote that peacetime CEOs are easy to find, but wartime CEOs, those who lead in struggle, build enduring legacies. Chapter 7. Systems that Scale Success. Ambition lights the fire. Systems keep it burning. Entrepreneurs often start with passion and hustle, but what separates a flash-in-the-pan startup from a lasting legacy is the ability to build systems. Systems are the invisible scaffolding of success, the structures that support consistent performance, free up time, reduce error, and allow teams to scale. This chapter is about shifting from reactive busyness to strategic structure. Why systems matter. Systems create predictability in an unpredictable world. They reduce reliance on memory or willpower and ensure that the important things happen even when you're tired, distracted, or overwhelmed. Without systems, every decision becomes a fresh problem. Growth becomes chaotic. Quality suffers as complexity increases. With systems, success becomes repeatable. Your business gains stability and resilience. You free yourself from the day-to-day to focus on vision. Systems don't replace creativity, they support and amplify it. From founder-driven to system-driven. Many entrepreneurs are bottlenecks in their own businesses. They micromanage. They hold too much in their heads. As a result, their company can't grow without them. To scale, founders must replace themselves in the system. Document processes. Delegate clearly. Automate where possible. Build repeatable workflows. Think like a designer, not just a doer. Ask, how can this task be done without me? The 3 types of systems every entrepreneur needs. Operational systems. These include daily workflows, project management tools, and SOPs, standard operating procedures. Clear ops systems reduce friction, increase speed, and ensure quality. Examples: onboarding checklists for new hires, automated customer email sequences, KPI dashboards. Financial systems cash flow is the lifeblood of your business. Without visibility and control, even profitable businesses can fail. Examples: budgeting tools and forecasting models, invoicing and payment automation, regular financial review rituals. Marketing and sales systems. No product sells itself forever. You need systems to consistently attract, convert, and retain customers. Examples: lead generation funnels, CRM pipelines, feedback loops from customer service to product teams. How to design effective systems. Great systems are simple. Complexity kills execution. If a process needs a manual to explain it, it's too complex. Clear. Every team member knows what to do, when, and how. Repeatable. The system works reliably across time and people. Optimizable. Built in checkpoints for measurement and improvement. Use tools like Asana, Notion, Zapier, Airtable, or Slack. But remember, tools don't build systems, process does. Automation versus delegation. Automation is ideal for tasks that are rule-based and frequent, e.g., email reminders, calendar bookings. Delegation is best for tasks that require judgment, empathy, or creativity, e.g., client communications, team leadership. Build a business where machines handle the repetitive, humans handle the relational. This hybrid approach boosts both efficiency and human connection. Scaling culture alongside systems. Systems are not just for logistics, they also support culture. Culture-based systems include weekly team check-ins, monthly all-hands with transparent metrics, shout-outs and reward systems that reinforce values, clear policies on communication, feedback, and time off. Structure doesn't kill culture, it protects and amplifies it. Metrics that matter. You can't improve what you don't measure. Track metrics that align with your goals, are within your control, drive behavior change. Avoid vanity metrics like followers or impressions unless they directly impact revenue, retention, or reputation. Use dashboards that show both leading indicators, actions, and lagging indicators, results. Regular review drives continuous improvement. Stories from the field. Reed Hastings, CEO of Netflix, credits much of their scaling success to strong systems, particularly around talent and feedback. Ray Dalio, founder of Bridgewater, built a radically transparent culture by creating systems where employees rate meetings and provide real-time feedback. Elon Musk is famous for systematizing innovation, with engineering sprints, feedback loops, and automated workflows embedded in Tesla's R&D. These leaders don't rely on brute force. They rely on infrastructure. Chapter 8. The Power of Relationships in Building Big Dreams. Ambition drives the individual, but relationships build the empire. Behind every extraordinary life is a network of people, mentors, partners, collaborators, supporters, even challengers. Entrepreneurs who understand this are able to multiply their impact, avoid costly mistakes, and open doors that would otherwise remain closed. This chapter explores how relationships fuel ambition, the types of connections that matter most, and how to build and maintain a powerful network. Why relationships are your greatest asset. Your network is more than just a Rolodex of contacts. It's your ecosystem, a dynamic system of support, challenge, and opportunity. Studies show that people with strong social ties tend to be healthier, happier, and more successful. In business, connections can mean the difference between finding early customers or struggling to get traction, getting funding or being overlooked, accessing advice and wisdom, or learning by costly trial and error. Relationships build social capital, a form of wealth that compounds over time. The 3 types of relationships every entrepreneur needs. Mentors and coaches, wise advisors who provide perspective, guidance, and honest feedback. They have been where you want to go and can help you navigate challenges faster. Find mentors who challenge your thinking, believe in your vision, are willing to invest time in your growth. Peers and collaborators, fellow entrepreneurs or professionals who share your drive and understand your struggles. Peers offer camaraderie, accountability, and often partnerships. Peer groups can be formal, like mastermind groups, or informal, like local meetups or online communities. Customers and advocates. Your end users are your greatest source of insight and validation. Build authentic relationships with your customers to understand their needs deeply and turn them into passionate advocates. Building your network with intention. Networking is often misunderstood as superficial schmoozing. Instead, think of it as relationship building, an ongoing process of genuine connection. Tips for intentional networking. Focus on quality, not quantity. Offer value first. Share knowledge, connections, or support without expecting immediate returns. Follow up consistently. Relationships need nurturing. Be authentic. People connect with real stories and sincerity. The role of emotional intelligence in relationships. Emotional intelligence, EQ, is the ability to understand and manage your own emotions and to empathize with others. High EQ entrepreneurs communicate clearly and listen deeply. Manage conflict constructively. Build trust and rapport quickly. Adapt their style to different personalities. Invest in developing your EQ through reflection, feedback, and practice. It's a critical skill for relationship building and leadership. Overcoming relationship challenges. Not all relationships are easy. Conflicts, misunderstandings, and mismatched expectations happen. Strategies to manage challenges. Address issues early and directly. Practice active listening. Set clear boundaries and expectations. Know when to let go of toxic relationships. Remember, your time and energy are precious. Surround yourself with people who elevate you. Leveraging technology to expand connections. Digital tools have revolutionized networking. LinkedIn for professional connections. Twitter and Clubhouse for thought leadership. Zoom and Slack for remote collaboration. Use these tools to expand your reach, but don't neglect face-to-face interactions when possible. In-person connection builds deeper trust. Giving back. The power of generosity. One of the most effective ways to build lasting relationships is through generosity. Share your knowledge, introduce others, volunteer your time. Generosity creates goodwill, strengthens your network, and often leads to unexpected opportunities. Remember the law of reciprocity. What you give often comes back multiplied. Stories from the field. Oprah Winfrey's rise is deeply rooted in the relationships she cultivated: mentors, collaborators, and a loyal audience that believed in her. Richard Branson credits much of Virgin's success to building teams with shared values and strong interpersonal bonds. Sarah Blakely, founder of Spanx, leveraged relationships with mentors and investors who believed in her vision despite initial setbacks. Chapter 9. The Mindset of Limitless Ambition. Ambition begins in the mind. The beliefs you hold about yourself and the world shape the heights you can reach. Without the right mindset, even the best strategies fall short. This chapter explores the mental frameworks, attitudes, and thought patterns that fuel relentless ambition and how to cultivate a mindset that breaks barriers and redefines what's possible. Growth mindset versus fixed mindset. Dr. Carol Dweck's research on growth mindset revolutionized how we understand success. A growth mindset is the belief that abilities and intelligence can be developed through effort, learning, and persistence. In contrast, a fixed mindset assumes talents and traits are innate and unchangeable. Entrepreneurs with a growth mindset embrace challenges as opportunities, learn from criticism and setbacks, persist despite obstacles, see effort as the path to mastery. A fixed mindset limits ambition by creating fear of failure and discouragement. The power of belief and self-efficacy. Your beliefs about your own capabilities, self-efficacy, profoundly impact motivation and performance. Psychologist Albert Bandura found that individuals with high self-efficacy set higher goals, persist longer, bounce back faster from failures. To build self-efficacy, reflect on past successes, visualize overcoming challenges, break goals into manageable steps, seek positive feedback and role models, embracing uncertainty and risk. Ambition often means stepping into the unknown. Fear of uncertainty can paralyze action. Developing psychological resilience means Accepting uncertainty is part of growth. Viewing risks as calculated opportunities. Learning to tolerate discomfort and ambiguity. Cultivate curiosity, asking questions, and experimenting fuels innovation and discovery. Overcoming limiting beliefs. Everyone carries limiting beliefs, subconscious thoughts that constrain potential. Examples include: I'm not smart enough. I don't have the right background. Success is for others, not me. Identifying and challenging these beliefs is crucial. Use techniques such as journaling your fears and doubts, questioning the evidence behind them, replacing negative self-talk with empowering affirmations. The role of optimism in positive psychology. Optimism isn't blind positivity. It's a realistic belief that good outcomes are possible with effort. Research in positive psychology shows optimistic entrepreneurs are more resilient, creative, and better at problem solving. Daily practices to cultivate optimism include gratitude journaling, focusing on strengths, surrounding yourself with positive influences, the importance of vision and purpose. A clear vision fuels ambition like rocket fuel. Entrepreneurs with a compelling sense of purpose are more motivated, better at overcoming setbacks, more inspiring to others. Create a vivid mental picture of your desired future. Write a personal mission statement. Connect your daily actions to this greater purpose. Cognitive flexibility and adaptability. The world is constantly changing. Ambition requires mental agility. Cognitive flexibility is the ability to shift perspectives, adapt plans quickly, learn from feedback, and pivot when necessary. Practice stepping outside your comfort zone and embracing new ideas. The role of discipline in sustaining ambition. Ambition alone is not enough. It needs discipline to turn ideas into action. Discipline is the daily commitment to consistent effort, especially when motivation wanes. Create systems and routines that support your goals. Automate decisions to conserve willpower. Real-life examples of ambitious mindsets. Elon Musk embodies relentless ambition, pushing boundaries in multiple industries with unshakable belief. Sarah Blakely overcame rejection with a growth mindset, persistence, and optimism. Oprah Winfrey's vision and purpose fueled decades of transformative work. Summary: cultivate a growth mindset to embrace challenges and learning. Build strong self-efficacy through reflection and visualization. Accept uncertainty as part of ambition and develop resilience. Identify and overcome limiting beliefs. Practice optimism grounded in reality. Create a clear vision connected to your purpose. Stay mentally flexible and adaptable. Use discipline to sustain effort over time. Your mindset is the engine of your ambition. Feed it well, and no limits will hold you back. Chapter 10. Leveraging failure as a stepping stone to success. Failure is often feared, avoided, and stigmatized. For the ambitious entrepreneur, failure is not an end but a critical part of the journey. The ability to learn from failure, bounce back, and use setbacks as fuel is what separates extraordinary lives from ordinary ones. In this chapter, we explore how to shift your relationship with failure, build resilience, and turn mistakes into stepping stones on your path to success. Redefining failure, from defeat to feedback. Most people view failure as a negative reflection of their abilities or worth. This fixed perspective leads to shame, self-doubt, and sometimes paralysis. Ambitious entrepreneurs reframe failure as valuable feedback information that guides better decisions next time. Each failure teaches what doesn't work, clarifies goals, and strengthens resolve. The science of resilience. Resilience is the mental and emotional capacity to recover quickly from difficulties. Studies show resilient people maintain a positive outlook, Manage stress effectively. Use problem-solving strategies. Have strong social support. You can cultivate resilience through mindfulness and stress reduction, building supportive relationships, developing realistic optimism, the growth mindset and failure. As covered earlier, a growth mindset sees failure as an opportunity to grow. Carol Dweck's research found that individuals with a growth mindset persist longer in the face of difficulty, view effort as necessary for mastery, learn from criticism. By adopting this mindset, entrepreneurs view failure as a temporary setback, not a permanent condition. Common failure traps to avoid. Perfectionism, waiting too long to launch or act because things aren't perfect. Catastrophizing, exaggerating the negative impact of failure. Avoidance, giving up or avoiding risks to escape possible failure. Recognizing these traps helps you respond more constructively. Case studies. Failure as a catalyst. Thomas Edison famously said, "I have not failed. I've just found 10 zero ways that won't work." His persistence led to the invention of the light bulb. J.K. Rowling faced numerous rejections before Harry Potter was published. Her resilience changed literary history. Steve Jobs was fired from Apple, only to return and revolutionize technology. These stories remind us that failure is often a stepping stone, not a dead end. Practical strategies to learn from failure. Reflect honestly. What went wrong? What can you control next time? Extract lessons. Identify specific takeaways. Adjust your approach. Modify your strategy based on insights. Seek feedback. Consult mentors, peers, or customers. Maintain perspective. Failure is a moment, not your identity. Building a failure-positive culture. For entrepreneurs leading teams, creating an environment where failure is accepted and analyzed productively fosters innovation and growth. Encourage open communication about setbacks. Celebrations of risk-taking. Learning sessions post-failure. Emotional management in failure. Failure can evoke shame, fear, and frustration. Managing these emotions is vital. Techniques include practicing self-compassion, using mindfulness to observe emotions without judgment, seeking support from trusted friends or professionals, persistence, the bridge between failure and success. Ambition without persistence is often short-lived. Persistence means staying focused on your vision, taking consistent action despite obstacles, rebounding quickly from setbacks. It's the daily decision to continue moving forward, unleashing your limitless potential. Ambition is the driving force that fuels extraordinary lives. It's the relentless spark that pushes you beyond comfort zones, shatters barriers, and creates possibilities where none seem to exist. But ambition alone is not enough. It requires clarity, resilience, strategic action, and the courage to embrace failure and keep moving forward. Throughout this book, we've explored how ambition can be harnessed backed by research and real-life examples to transform dreams into reality. We've uncovered how mindset, habits, relationships, and self-mastery are the pillars supporting your journey toward limitless success. As an entrepreneur, your greatest asset is your belief in what's possible. When you combine that belief with deliberate effort and smart strategies, no challenge is insurmountable. Remember these key truths. Your limits exist only in your mind. Break free by cultivating a growth mindset. Failure is not the opposite of success, but a vital part of the process. Building strong, authentic relationships multiplies your impact and opens doors. Managing your energy, focus, and emotions sustains your ambition over time. Taking consistent, purposeful action is the bridge from vision to achievement. Now is your moment. No limits exist except those you accept. You have the power to build an extraordinary life on your terms, fueled by ambition, guided by wisdom, and anchored in resilience. Step boldly into your future. Dream bigger, push harder, rise stronger. Your extraordinary life awaits.